Namaskaram, ഞാൻ EliKutty and welcome to Learn Malayalam with EliKutty. Today we're going to look at Malayalam verbs. What is a verb? What do they look like? And how do they change in the simple present, past, and future forms? We'll also learn how to make them into the negative forms, and I'll give you some suggestions for resources to further study verbs at the end. So, let's get started. What are verbs? In Malayalam, we have two different types of verbs. We have the verbs that show a state of being, and we have action verbs. So the state of being verbs are arne and unde, but today we're not going to focus on those. We're going to look at the action verbs. So in English, action verbs are words like walk, eat, speak, and look. Nadakuga, kaikuga, parayuga, nokkuga. As you notice, all of these words end with ka. When you look up a verb in the dictionary, you'll find it in its basic form, and its basic form always has ka at the end. It's important to know this because then you need to know how to play with the verb in order to make it do the things you want it to do. When using verbs in Malayalam, remember that verbs go toward the end of the phrase. So if I wanted to say, I ate pizza, in Malayalam we would say, Njan pizza kaichu. I pizza ate. Let's take a closer look on how to change verbs in different situations. So first we're going to look at present tense verbs. And as an important note, we don't use present tense verbs in Malayalam the same way as we use present tense verbs in English. For example, in English we usually use present tense verbs to describe daily habits, like I walk to the store, I speak to my mother, I eat bananas. But in Malayalam, the simple present form does not convey this meaning. However, we should still know how to conjugate into the simple present. So, we take the verb, we drop the ka, and we add n. So, nadakuga becomes nadakunnu. Kaikuga becomes karikunu. Parayuga becomes parayunnu. That's right. And nokkuga becomes nokkunnu. So once again, this is the simple present form. So now that we understand the simple present, let's go into the future. Now, in general, the future tense is, of course, used to describe things that will happen at a future time, but it can also be used to describe daily habits and facts and phenomenon. So instead of using the present simple, we would just use the simple future. So, how do we change it into the future tense? We drop the ka and we add So, nadakuga becomes nadaku. Kaikuga becomes kaikyu. Parayuga becomes parayum. Nokkuga becomes nokkun. So this means that it will be done in the future. Now, one easy mistake to make is to accidentally use instead of So when we use at the end, for example, kaikyam, this doesn't mean I will eat, it means I shall eat. So it's kind of like making a promise or a plan, but it's not 100% as opposed to kaikyum, I will eat. So we have a pattern for the regular form of a verb, we have a pattern for the simple present, we have a pattern for the simple future, and we don't have a proper pattern for the past tense of Malayalam verbs. In fact, there are up to 12 different classes of past tense verbs. Today I'll just show you a few. It's one of those where once you get more familiar with the language and you see the patterns within the verbs, you'll start to understand. So for example, nadakuga becomes nadunu. Kaikuga becomes kaichu. Parayuga becomes paranyu. And nokkuga becomes nokki. And there are several groups of words that will share this. I'll show you some here. So now that we can do the simple present, future, and past, let's check out how to make these forms negative. It's quite easy. I'm going to take our word kaikuga because I like to eat. And so we change it into the simple present form. We have kaikinu. But കഴിക്കുന്നു, I eat. കഴിക്കുന്നില്ല, I don't eat. Into the future, കഴിക്കും becomes കഴിക്കില്ല, I won't eat. And then in the past, കഴിച്ചു, I ate, will become കഴിച്ചില്ല, I didn't eat. Alright, so let's wrap up and discuss what we talked about today. First, we learned that Malayalam action verbs end with ka in their basic form. That's how you find them in the dictionary. To make them into simple present, we drop the ka and add n. To go into the future tense, we drop the ka and add not to confuse it with which gives it a different meaning. And for the past, we have up to 12 different classes of Malayalam verb endings for the past, which I've included a few resources to help you see some of those patterns. In addition, if you want to dive into Malayalam verbs even more, I highly recommend the channel Fluent in Malayalam. She's been posting a lot of verb a day videos to help you see all the different moods and tenses of Malayalam verbs, and it's super helpful for anyone wanting to get extra practice. That's it from me. Until next time, appo ellam paranathu pole. Well, that's it from me. So until next time, appo ellam paranathu pole.